music stops, I'll walk you to your door. You say goodnight like 1,000 times before. This is the night I just want you to know. This is the night I just can't let you go. Why should we wait until tomorrow? Why should we wait until tomorrow? Well, I can't wait until tomorrow. I need you tonight. I drive away, but you're still on my mind. It's so hard leaving you behind. This is the night I just want you to know. This is the night I just can't let you go. Why should we wait until tomorrow? Why should we wait until tomorrow? Well, I can't wait until tomorrow. I need you tonight. Why should we wait until tomorrow? Why should we wait until tomorrow? Well, I can't wait until tomorrow. I need you tonight.
Arat shidene arachad akisigi di horod denebananta Dr. Boo Nygren aita tamo to teach haishin hatasokis 1 o'clock 5:30 haishin old kitlo yat kedini dolel arashim DJ ashon denebake bakal jono o aslo hodo blue skies and yagodot lezon jono chin anigi ban kilta hojon do ashjanshi da desk az da holya masana don hitcheda banada not kha do khede shasi Tuesday din linigi la banda hido yelto al de kuyo bichin da sojada bebet khayada hot etul khin zonro ne kansis case arosh ne da no linigi le sashi da keda not inigi yat etol upcoming holidays or appreciation days. January 24th is International Day of Education. Lena ki yiskaun da inisho le mkemana Hassan Bakao beho ahige International Day of Education. Eshin hot on United Nations General Assembly bid no and le nalsos khede di lati January 24th kone ultra igi yese hot taho not alto that nils no bedel nito le no hot oye da hos be hodon ligi in le ultra igi ashona nishke le to hojol ato yat benj do tas quinzo hoto International Day of Education is coundo le shin kalchindo neda dan no lenigi hatashi ultra dalla ne don lan kit so kedashin yego ultra beda netligi is count International Day of Education January 24. Local announcements. Missing Navajo people reports from the Navajo Police Department this week. From the Tuba City Police District, 13-year-old Uriah Barron is missing. He was last seen January 16th in Lachi, Arizona. He's 5 feet 8 inches tall, 130 pounds, with brown eyes and brown hair. He was last seen wearing a number 8 Dallas Cowboys jersey, black jeans, and a black beanie. He was last seen in a white 4-door sedan. If you have any information, please call Tuba City Police District at 928 283-283-3111 Dishe Hojone Denebda Hoyagi Alchiniajan Long Tapanakhego Urian Baron no January 16 the Chi Arizona Ada na no Bahon Eshi Tuba City Tonanis Desis Lab has Anigi Homage Hadosne Yesem Ashki Yajan Long 5 feet 8 inches 130 pounds Hoto brown eyes brown hair the Dallas Cowboys number 8 jersey she Seton Hota il Sande no Belage Jen do Chanats on the Jenny Bikide Ado Chidis at the Grele Ina no a kid Behon Eshin Kisbada Housen a Tuba City which had Salab has Anigi 928-283-3111 Ado Eshiasi Yego the Nebacado Jachota Tiashki Yajan left Hats at Tapanache 13 years old she Behel Zahot found Navajo people Jasmine Charlie has been located and she is safe. This ain't the Nebanda hosts Zenigi Jasmine and Charlie will Bana hosts and do at no in kitchen hon egi also hehe da jahigido satobanda no trado hodena gata no da salada in the house nigi hehe do lich Hune Nanagi accomplishments. Hunashi Navajo Nation Tax Commission has finalized the junk food tax allocation for fiscal year 2024. Dishe inle inaltra Jian doyadat egi dahaznigi bininache. Elkihi jagi 2.4 million. Ya nanite do Office of the Controller do Office of Navajo Tax Commission na kide nenel ego 2.4 million ni hune la lahodo need. Eshi inle the nevake abaka nas nilibin dahaz anago. But you hoda do I'll say the Bacado, but Holia 5% Natch Holia, Eshi Inle, community development, and that Nishigi administrative fees got no she but nil. Ado be Ohigishi Inle Tranas, the Libich Hodadol Nilaro, Yena de Nishto Lish Inle, Chian Ba Hayado, Chian the Yat Egi, Bige Dest Ito Lish, no she hoto, Yan Sida case a hoto ye del Nishto Lish, hoto Shiba Hodanos in the list 2.4 million Yananite, Adonli Tranas, Leshat in the Last week, we announced the new partnership for Nezad Solar Project. Last week, da inishada sada distanli ni nanazad tratnas nebetnas anye kaya labethaotso dishe in le NTUA Ado de Quigo Shinshi Jing Lion Point Capital and Navajo Sun dabad no na nishde yos yedigi hwa yon sogon le na nishndot atle shantin bitsado sin shlishel inigi edigi bedat del tlegi ane hwa de nebeke Kawet el idolit kad en le ashladin hat so bekaw don de el iden le trona ne den da han nicht do bekawde da inish an hisha khwat del on bigatol no le bede do nishigido be inal trangishi 5 gigawatts no is a solar cell manufacturing facility hot on jono ayon trona nish bekhuido aron le nit ahshin le start na kit de mil yaje khonela de nehda do nish construction jobs Aro Sonit Ambakedo she inland na Kidemilia Honela the Nedale Nishla Ishi Hota Honda Ilgedo le Naho Consul Nekeda Hanot Enigi Klejin that's in Klishbeda Enes that is called Obini Nacha Kea Benina Nanish Dastine Ishi Honen Nahido Nison Ashon the Net Nanish Ben Dahodo Tel no Bedaho Desta Kadeshi in Le Washington the Quidishi Aslanane Kaha Beso das an Hanado Niso Behodo Niligi Digi Behodo Nil no Stashi in Le Stad as a $2 billion Honela that's a Bahodo Le Hoto Yat Eho Ni Nanazar chapter Kahash in Hidini del Aro Tatnas Nelden of Senegido had the Neke Dahnot Enigi Ashon Le Yedeskan and Sahakes and Nenigi Hot O in Kalchin Ad Nan Nishbe the Hodlo Nan Nishbe the Hodod Le Inache Nada del Zito Le Noda Shin Hoto Behodest Anigi Yoba Hinsen Ado the Never Washington Shame in Altando lease payments at Enigi Ya Nahin Datal otherwise she Tatnas Le Besenda Nisho the Shwe where the Neke that Enigi Ultrapke Idol Trat Nenigi da Hodal Dolis Ado Sadashi so last soda basis bit dol Siloda Bebekana Ye Dolis no Hoto na Nishan Sagi Benahadest in Lani Nanazad 5 gigawatt solar modular assembly and manufacturing facility. She had on in Dol Silod starting 2,000 construction jobs jobs, 2,000 long-term jobs. No, is you but that there's nistolish. Hona hot edas in yego says ha kan. Ba get nada needs in the hot she hodobe nastze. See, the net can't ido bansinda. Ashwan and nishbe the halon do in that kan da ilye do ashon. Hawanda ye hada hada leo and nehi. In some bansis case, do ahoda no sindole. He had ole into you do sato bin the salt nishigi. That be the need nishigi. Navajo linemen have been deployed to Los Angeles to restore power after the huge wildfire in the Los Angeles hawanda dadik do kayat that dog angim tan hin the net and launch and slish and delt igi don leader bayata igi yanda naigi hot enegi not deemed up on land hit the net and long but that need ni ade a ka dotja jodi annaha khada horoban nashne light up Navajo but no in the net or and han nada khato hoden ka khan ta alwa hot on not on hisha bakan deal was hodon nido into Argent lineman dan lenigi do large not ani dan lenigi had ole yes nik the ne ho but that need nigi do hot on jono do jagi adult on les and firefighters lo added that the hollo Navajo Nation firefighters because dan lenigi da di hot ocean but so that then firefighters dan lenigi do lineman len chag hodog atigi aden ke the net hollonigi jono nada hedo khaton jono ade the nei kha do ja le order hodit agoya si yegon jono the net it's bit nenigi yego da job do ashon hoden kha has kredon ke kha itjegi ba kheda nitzen da noda sat order da dit agi ba khad ole aroshin ke da non lenigi do klashin ke alchin ho bit asolnigi a khad ole hot o yego den ne ben ke den enigi ben ke ta holzelo ke den idole huinzo khad ole. Through reading, we encourage learning of the Navajo language. This year, in the mo as land down there in Sago, the Nebich has stand up. Nal sauce. Wold Tragi, the neck at your old Tragi, Salina bookshelf. Ado ha netigi, Traden is it deemed as Chinias, which a huilia. This year, Bedahoidos, Arthur, neck at your old Tragi, the Nebazaraho yanda, ye yadast, do yindahoidos, Arthur. No, cho hot but that there's nish, lead or hanaha dam, be has ani be las a thingy, the Nebazar, I say. Allah that Nils and Obe Yadel Kedolil Hanene Hadelia Adolto Executive Order Jun Shishel has Angi the Nebenant Nal Sos Ye Sezenigi Hadil Yagi Enle the Neba Washington Yandal Neshigi the Nebazach de Nos Ido Satoda Arts Isoda Benda Asodo Lech Noda Hot but that there's Nishton Le Ashida Shel has Anigon Neda the neck etchada Bikit Ashchonda the Yanda Alta Dohune Nal Nishgi dit ona Yenal Nishna Noda Bikit Ashchonda ne dadel kaspedasche aron ne nade zedoshin le ultra bisen das ango ade kanade shatle dishin nalt sos ultraigi alchinier which hoda dil nil do benina jonoda inda hoidol askin kezar nengi yese shel illi do hot oshin jono di alada na nishto na hat ada haishin da ba oidira hot o nasty des count alchin kezar chiye do banda hont adol khoinzo hot on kezar nengi dinil zeno Nasco yi Catholic. No, Ishinot on alsos will tragin de nitodel. Major projects I'm working on. Navajo.held project update meetings with Sawmill Chapter Management. The Navajo Department of Transportation has decided to pursue Sawmill as a road maintenance yard location. Deshe Hojonle the Neba Washington teen, but the initially because Anija Le Sawmill Chapter Ishiada Lahazlim the maintenance yards at Nenigi Sahuan.as hot on Zgade Winter Rock did the Chidana nada ekita do le beta hoto neligida say yajada da do zeligida khado ayido besinda has ando le no ishin hoto yeda hades ando jono do nis ado bread springs de so are dot no bin hat did never care baka that ye gon da halkindo dan skil do hinda nache ba yo adal negi at hot egida hot o ayido chidana nanda zido le no da hot open da hat ado lake gravel do sand yid go dons garen da hakke hobiga to lich no yinda eshin hot on jono de nebe ke ba de kushin ni nilo hot yego de nenke chin da hal ni gitskilo ba da ye do lich khada na da hastrado di dan chklida da li ho da btsano da tkhunda da nahigida hot ben da honit to yinda nish Chinle Youth Complex is working its way through the process. They say in the Chinle Youth Complex, ben had ahigi the hosto ha zoje bil ha zoje Washington il goligi bil anol beson ki hodol ni 500,000 enegi hot odi kin dot asligi be khalil dot ni ton dot to be hodon niligi digi lan ki holiga do le no eshi kanal sos la hadilne Office of the Youth to Division of Community Development jono nal sos nak azon ne hosto ha zoje bil khadil yago hoto beson ki hodai la dibet don nishigi ni hodon ni no beta inni shin chinni youth complex ho yanda di elso beso lan ki holiga do an lebik hotan da don nishin da changi do hodo the neba Washington da ye do rol do asligi beso ye el do biga to le no etati benda hat do beta innish meet and greets le the mo biskane da chance ya ne Washington da na shande ne Donald Trump yet the nihigi chuk at yese slatin halzo baka hazogi benant asli jo chihet the lohi ye da kaigi yese nat ani das le ne ye one day one jida chihet the lohi de yese late ben hat hazla ara khorot nebadant ajloi khit all up in deshnish begin deshnish do insenda jodia yese yego yet the nebake bakan kitchen holte is eben yet Washington begin jil nishtole jo aria sin behez ani da yozo doran khayato siligi don the neban sinda ebenina o royen da zenigi na nish khadnol chal do to de peso tal enigi peso ya nahin tehigi do en leda atsin ista beta del tligida yesa hon the neba Washington satin hazo baka an hedel on biga to le nenigi she hot enigi yego to be de sin shno hot be not anin shnigi arabin yet khad shah den knazi le git gestigi that no sendo khalet all in zillo knazi le dol nil an khinit zon hor keda hanit do an khinit zon hor na nishadan nil chado an khinit zon beso ya nahin tehigi en ken so zon biga to le no tre chin de lohigi besta skille khojit ego nenigin hat yesa ede yen da zon ebenina she khodo be yashtege hoto be yashtkele khojit ego nenigi nahat ede be sizile are ayada di nehada le shlatin des is at khodo yidego le Liberty Ball no are khani yado Donald Trump yaltke yidego yilsa edo biche dan don neko hunzado yilsado bandal nishigida hayu chin yesen statin hazo baka but the halnigida are saselin are khanashan shdo belinash enigi belkhin da hoil ne do diet oedne beke baka nahot nikado chahe nikhel to hodo khojit edo le nenegi an hedanit edo le an hina nish danit zin an hedanit on jono at en nebeke baka de nebekan dil rosigi hot ende nikhen da so zonde eto nicht de schnoda hot on nahat be yashtkho ade tradishande aroslo hosto ha zojet kho che khadadit age lo be landa do sel ye land do sel queen zone hat ada eben ye ade tradishande le Congressman Harriet Hagman, a chair of the House of Natural Resources Subcommittee on Water, Wildlife, and Fisheries. Noda. Aro Chairman Bruce Westerman, the chair of the House Natural Resource Committee. Edat enigi ashon ade yilsado belkiln da hasne do belkeda deshni. Hot open ya ade khad shahne oni janez bahanez na oni shana hal no khaltshno. De eben yehnat ani itlida nat ani jloy shana ho nil to shana ho nil oni wa bik khashijit edolet nat ani jloy ta ho nislago khajsido ben yelch enas di nidan hat ada najik qas da ebe jono de nebahadro alton so eben ye ade khad shahne jon khiadan khel bada hazn she janez da khaygi asi aye kushina khaya eden shlon be case zonda kadi laol de gebin nachto askil na anish jo de nebe kaya bakhawi do e janez do ha si chin de lohido de nedebich na hot igi yesedo le kejedo le nach huil yagot ke do dani zinda de snolo yobal yadat lo chihen de lohi aj da khaygi she ke de nedo ban sinda de snoda ne khado chahe din khen khelo Americans da nitle ne khelo jono yat hona nishta nitzin de snoda ha shi belkhiln da hashna da yobal dal kantle hot enishi shi kana kinana khayoshi an kinant an shlenda edi yisib cases zindo le ishi hot oba hoda no sindo le tlashin yare san da di tsa to khashit o in kitsa na ha ya jahani janes da hikral net tlacho na ha yala the no da ned sa da di tsa der she do hot oban sis kesa di do khiln do nish do di yen da zinigin khilto ab kendi kahon juno yat e hot nebe ke ob ka khada hol dil ni le tlashin o de bin hat ashin la hot hot end the nebe ke ob ka dre bin yet the nebe nan an schnep di ziltigos nelo bin yon keyasa anigi dort the nehwa ke da hat enigi dort the ne itlenigi e digi khait olan juno khahol dol ni to ke ob ka yat e ho ke da honit enigi a e de bin ye a de khad shale khait ola juno ke da honit inon ka to chahe de shnoda e de be rosh al ishi ba khoda no sindole a de shin sarat zada li tsagi shi e do de sinol tsada khode yani ani yat e ho sad ani be khodo netligi de e de be nigi hosh inle ishi ba khoda no sindole. Upcoming events this Friday at the Shibrok Chapter House. Pastor So will host winter coat giveaway. Dishi hojo etso not nito lechle not ani nez tratnas nilibels anigi da inish gonne ishi hodo 9 o'clock go haljisto lechle 4 o'clock ashi etso hastinje Shibrok Chapter parking lot no ado hodeshne halnebch hodeshne tan soy Pastor So 928-436-5952 dishi etso amado jadol chinies dan lenigi da biga hagi da hollodo le astinje shinda no yinda ishi ar Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Shibrok Chapter House. Winter coat giveaway dolel. Ishibe a hehan kedini dolel horo shedene arohada akiston da isnolt to hodo khanen hich enish in tenebe Washington bedenit agido benda anishto da honegida e hoto heha dolel nike a huichin khansis kes da het ola de neba huit altol khalet ola chnada hodil nil ila nanal ya noda na edish kitle ado dinana khajia se yego adet khad shatlich tatashin len da inni flea market da adet na da gedil selto kha nas de landa atlego da aro da shin thoda in da khada a hon yanda kedal dil neton da inni go da da shin le adet ne si ke da hat enigi banan strado le shnohlo ben hash ahlo di a yu beta inni shwan da nil besh da chi da del thoda de se hawan yajda yanda al tagi de hawan beta de agi banan nestral se il in da ne do hawanda de nesligi banan straudo le nan nestein tsragin da hat nesligi e hot o shindigan kushin na de zero ade nebeke bakat na shado le aho yanda da hidlil selchodik ade na kinakhe nat anin khan shlon kade ya sho ayat e hon juno de nebe Washington na di na don da neshigi hot o indek ade de nebeke bakat de khad shaho edo khod na nestol no klotan so banses case hot o da hidlil sel kushin na de zero aho yanda yat e hildi nisadat ebeshi din ketalon juno naska na de no khatla khodoye de nebananda Dr. Bu Nygren the mo nasti on tin jigonen da neshoshin nikcha hane na de stil hakone yarat.
Good afternoon, Yat. Thank you, Shananda, Dr. Nygren, for your presentation today. I'm Michael Anderson. I'm the Executive Division Director for the Division of Public Safety. I have in my division, we have 7 departments: law enforcement, criminal investigations, internal affairs, Department of Corrections, emergency management, fire and rescue, and emergency medical services are all part of the Division of Public Safety. There's been some recent activity I want to talk to you about. I know that it's been mentioned before, but it's a matter that's kind of concerned, especially for our our relatives that are living in the communities outside of the borders of the Navajo Nation. But even for that matter, those people that are traveling, maybe they're traveling to Gallup or traveling to Albuquerque, they're traveling off the borders from Navajo. You're hearing the stories about the ICE program, which is a federal program that deals with immigration matters. So ICE. I know it's been talked about, and you'll probably see it on our website, the Navajo Police website, as well as the Division of Public Safety website, and the Office of the President. And there's some steps in there to make sure that all officers that are part of any entity, any agency, will have identification. They'll have a badge. They'll have an ID. So you should be able to ask for them to show that information to you so you can verify that they're in fact members of a legitimate law enforcement agency, be that local city or county, like a sheriff's department or city police, or state agency like a highway patrol, federal agency like the ICE, immigration's law enforcement, FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, any police officer, agent that's acting in the color of law will have some type of identification that they should be able to show you. So make sure you ask for that. They should be able to present it to you. I'll have a badge and an ID, which will show their name and what agency that they have authority to work from. Do not resist the officers. Do be polite, be cooperative. You can ask them to verify their identity, and then ask them, am I free to go? If you're free to go, they'll let you go, and you can just walk and on. But be polite, help them accomplish their jobs and get the situation resolved quickly. Document everything. If you have an encounter, get information as to where it happened, when it happened, who the people that were involved, so that you can then have that documentation for later reporting. When you can report any unusual, if you feel it's an illegal or improper detainment or an arrest, you can go to the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, which is or the affiliate or legal support organization in regards to these checkpoints, these detainments or interactions. So just be aware of that. And if you're not sure, follow up by contacting the offices here in Window Rock under the Division of Public Safety, the Chief of Police, Ronald Silversmith, and the Deputy Chief, Leonard Williams. There are people that can assist you in helping determine if, in fact, these things are legitimate matters being addressed properly. So be aware of that, and we'll look into that for you as need be. I wanted to talk a little bit more about some of the things that are going on. Of course, we had the State of the Navajo Nation. We had our division departments up there to assist. We are working on a couple meetings. We're working with the Division of Family and Child Services and Department of Health to bring in programs that will help our relatives, our people of the Navajo Nation, but as well as our members of our Division of Public Safety to help them with traumatic incidences. And we're working on that in regards to mental health. That's a program that we're hoping to develop using cooperation with the two divisions of Department of Health and Family and Child Services. So we're looking forward to working with them to accomplish that. Otto, as I may have spoken about it earlier, we have an additional detention facility up in Shiprock that we had dedicated that will help alleviate some of our concerns of travel for our officers, but also provide areas where people that are being detained for court or for an arrest will be a little bit closer to where they live at. So that's as well. We're working on that as well. The First Nation of Canada, our brother tribe from the Canadian First Nation, came and visited us and wanted to see how the Navajo Division of Public Safety is operating, to assist them to accomplish like programs, so that maybe they can copy what we're doing or get ideas of how we're progressing and accomplishing our different programs within the Division of Public Safety. So I really appreciate all of Dr. Dolores Gray Eyes, our Director of Corrections. Her staff really helped to host and facilitate the visit from the First Nation tribes of Canada as they visited and looked at our jail system, saw some of the programs that our police department, Department of Corrections, all do to work together, and in extension, and as well as how we work with the courts, with the prosecutor's office, and even the public defenders, is because it's all part of the system in providing criminal justice. So, lastly, I want to talk really quickly about the information management system of the Navajo Police Department is responsible for handling data-related functions and services that support our law enforcement operations. Its key responsibilities include records management, data analysis and reporting, evidence and property management, dispatch and community support, technology and systems administration, public records requests, and compliance and security. All of those are part of the IMS information management section. They have a number here in Window-Rock, 928-357-6210. They have a website also at www.ims.navajo-nsn.gov. All part of, again, the information management. They have office hours 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They do a same-day service that is limited from 8 to 12. So if you get in early, best thing to do is if you're going to come in, call a day or two ahead and make sure that they're going to be at office. Sometimes we have situations where the office has to close early or because of the facility or because of staffing or whatever. But that number again is 928-357-6210. Talk to your staff and see if they're going to be open and how, maybe even see how we can set up a time to be there specifically to maybe get a background check or get records situated. And they'll give you information as to what you need to bring in and what the costs, requirements of a formal request, what information you may have to bring in, like a valid state driver's license or RD. Then you need potentially a release of authorization if you're not an involved person on the report. And there are fees that are attached, so it'd be good to check in on how those relate to what you're trying to get from the IMS department. So with that, I want to say thank you. And once again, I always want to make sure that we extend an appreciation and thanks to all the men and women of the Division of Public Safety, both uniform and non-commissioned, the work that they do on behalf of the Navajo Nation for all of those individuals that are out there. So we appreciate you and the work that you do. I'd ask everybody out there also, when you get a chance, make sure you extend that appreciation well as to the men and women of the Division of Public Safety in those 7 departments. And I know that Dr. Nygren appreciates all the services that they do. He supports ultimately their mission to provide those services for our Navajo people. So with that, Shay Michael Anderson, Twitch in Sloan, okay, Nepashin, Ashin, Shado, Tuahan National, Hehat.
Shay Tom Plateau and Shay. I work with the Navajo Division of Transportation. I'm the director for our shop here. The first topic we want to cover is we have job openings. We're trying to recruit people to come work with us. Right now on the Navajo Nation Department of Personnel Management website, we have 20 positions advertised. So if you know of anyone, please let them know of the jobs that we have open. For motor coach operator, this works with the transit system. We have openings for drivers in Crown Point, New Mexico, Fort Defiance, Arizona, Navajo, New Mexico, and 2 positions with Tuba City, Arizona. For heavy equipment operators, we are looking for help at Delcon, Arizona, Bread Springs, New Mexico, and Sawmill, Arizona. For equipment mechanic, we're looking for one in Tabanito, New Mexico. A building maintenance worker, we're in Pinon, Arizona. A laborer in Red Mesa, Arizona. An archaeologist, we have 3 of them open at the Tabanito, New Mexico site here. And we have an opening for a principal archaeologist at Tabanito, New Mexico. An environmental specialist in Shiprock, New Mexico. Senior environmental specialist at Tabanito, New Mexico. And we have openings for 3 senior equipment mechanics at our Fort Defiance, Arizona office, and I believe that's with the transit program. Again, if you know of anyone that's looking for a job that could fit into these qualifications, check with the Navajo Nation Department of Personnel Management website, www.dpm.navajo-nsn.gov. Uh, our team has been doing quite a bit of work to try to make plans for 2025. The first amongst these is we're going to be working to update our strategic plan. We have a meeting the next few days with different departments to come and provide their input in the development of our strategic plan. We just completed our yearly reviews with each of the programs, and they are developing quarterly plans that will be structured into the development of the strategic plan. The next one is we just hired someone to help us develop road maintenance yards on the Navajo Nation, and those will be located in Red Mesa, Saline, Sawmill, Shanto, Bread Springs, Newcomb, Mariano Lake, and Naizi. When we did our chapter outreach, we heard loud and clear that we need to decentralize the road maintenance program so that services are closer to the communities that we work with. So that's why we're trying to establish these yards. We do have 2 yards that are already in operation, which are in Pinon and Delcon. We have a 3rd yard that's already funded, which is going to be at White Horse Lake. So altogether, we will have 11 road maintenance yards, hopefully by the end of 2025. The next one that we'll be working on is we want to coordinate a orientation on Navajo DOT's processes, policies, procedures, the rules that we work with when all of the new chapter officials are installed for all 110 chapters. More than likely, we're going to be doing an Arizona section that's going to tie in with the Utah section and New Mexico and try to make it geographically available for those chapter officials that are going to be starting their new positions. The next one is we're working with our partners at the county level. We're going to be looking to make sure that all the intergovernmental agreements are current. For some counties, we do provide them funding to maintain roads at their county Navajo Nation roads. So we're going to be working to update the payments to all of those. There's been a lag in some of them. Some of them need to have the agreement run back through the process for approval for implementation for all of those. The next thing that we'll be working on this next year is really to develop a comprehensive reporting structure where we gather a lot more statistics than we have in the past. Part of our yearly reviews for the departments that we did, we talk with them about gathering more information. How many sites did you visit? How many projects were done? All of those kind of things. So we want to use that information to create a yearly report for 2025. So we'll see how all of that goes. Again, we thank you for all of your support. If you need any information, visit us on our website at the navahodot.org. Thank you.
Yate. This is Sonia. I'm trying to get where's my camera? There it is. Apologies. Yate. Shea Sonia Nez and Shadow Tanjikin Slingo Toya Jini Bashiano Kia Ani Dashanado Alizani Dashiche and Lina Inasha. I'm the department manager for the Navigation Broadband office. And thank you for joining this morning. This afternoon, I'd like to talk to you about broadband initiatives across the nation. We want to talk about the transformative digital opportunities for Navajo Nation communities. Our vision is to achieve digital equity and provide economic opportunities for the Navajo people. And we're want to talk about our mission, our plans, ongoing projects, and the immense benefits of our broadband initiative. And we're talking about connecting lives, driving education, improving healthcare access, creating economic growth for our Navajo Nation. And first up, we want to talk about the Navajo Nation, State of the Nation. Our team helped, and in the Broadband Office and ConnectNet team worked for connectivity for the Navajo Nation, State of the Nation out in Tuba City last week. And we provided 9 wireless networks and 1 fixed connectivity, supporting public communications, radio stations, broadcast, TV teams, the executive branch, public safety, and government officials. So this achieved connectivity surpassing 1.3 gigabytes of bandwidth. So we want to thank NTUA's fiber backbone and Verizon Wireless's 5G mobile services. We ensure robust internet services. So, and this was further enhanced by the integration of Starlink satellite services. So we also had Starlink out there as well, and everybody had free internet, uninterrupted connectivity, and then we were enable real-time updates and full participation. We were streaming the State of the Nation out there, so it was a great success, and just lets you see the combined approach of leveraging diverse technologies to meet the connectivity needs across the nation. So that was great success at the State of the Nation in Tuba City. And then I want to talk about BEAD updates real quick right now. We did qualify, so we have the state of Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico, and we qualified in Utah and then qualified in Arizona. So, and we're still waiting to hear back from New Mexico right now. So, but we did get all our pre-registration, pre-application, qualification paperwork in. So, we're excited about that. We are next going to talk about the chapter connectivity projects. So, interim connectivity, we deployed out of the 110 chapters, 54 are connected via, 57 are connected via the E-rate project. And the E-rate program is a federal program that helps schools and libraries afford high-speed internet. And so using that program, we've connected 57 chapters. And so how do we connect the remaining chapters that don't have connectivity, right? So we have a short-term goal and a long-term goal for the chapters. And so for the interim, we want to connect the 54 chapters that are underserved right now to via low Earth orbiting, which is called LEO, satellite solutions, and which in this case is the Starlink. And so that's what we're working on. And then for the long-term goals, of course, we still want to ensure fiber connectivity, build that out. And so we're working on that. And that'll be, of the 54 that are not connected today, 27 Sacred Wind Communications is slated to get those done, the complete fiber construction by June 30th of 2025. So in a few months, and we're waiting on pending approval of a notice to proceed. And so we're working hard to get that in place so that they can start construction and get it done by June 30th. To 27 chapters on mostly on the New Mexico side. So, and then with the remaining 27 chapters, we're going to rebid those out for the E-rate program. So, and this will take time. So we want to, like I said, in the interim, we want to get Starlink to these chapters. So, and then updates on the middle mile requirements for BEAD and 5G. Infrastructure needs. How do we get 5G out there? How do we get the foundation for BEAD? across the nation. So that was going to require 78 structures and laying of over 1,500 miles of fiber to connect those towers and those chapters. And so this includes 1,265 miles for towers and then 270 miles of fiber to the chapters. And what's all this going to cost? The budget overview again, $271 million. We have $77 million that's secured, but we are actively pursuing additional funding to meet the full project requirement. So, a fully based fiber-based plan, what would that cost? Exceeding $1.2 billion. That's if we connect everybody to fiber. And so with those, we're looking at different solutions, one being fiber and the next being fixed wireless access, and then, of course, the last being the satellite connectivity. So right now, the current status of the RFP towers, we have an RFP out there that just ended January 16th, last week. So we're excited about the bid proposals that did come in, and that's going to be addressing phase one of the 78 towers that we need. Phase one will includes the 36 towers, and these towers will be owned by the Navajo Nation. And so we will start evaluating those RFPs, the bid responses next week. So, and then look forward to getting those awarded and getting the funds in place. The fund is in place. We just need access to it, And so that's working with the council and the office of the president. The office of the controller, DOJ, to get that trust fund set up so we can have access to the $77.8 million. So that's something else we're working on. And then telecom regulation development, support for telecom regulation development. That's another thing that we're working on. We want to develop clear and effective telecom regulations because it's critical to our broadband expansion. The Broadband Office and the team here were collaborating with the departments such as the Navajo General Land Development Department, the Navajo Department of Justice to streamline regulatory processes. This focus includes enforcing safety and building codes for infrastructure projects, establishing tribal right-of-way corridors on designated roadways, streamlining 5G deployment through co-location permitting and new tower construction, standardizing commercial licenses, lease fees using independent market studies. And so okay. All right. So in closing, that was just a quick highlight of what we're doing with the Broadband Office. There's a lot that's going on, and we're working on revamping our website, and also the one thing I wanted to mention was February 19th is going to be our next meeting. It should be at NDOT in person. So please and we'll send invites out. So please make plans to join us virtually or in person. So we're all about empowering our communities and shaping a brighter future for the Navajo Nation by bridging the digital divide. So thank you so much. Have a great day and week, everyone. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you that are watching Facebook Live, Sarah Slim Yanchiedo. I'm the Executive Director for the Navajo Hopi Land Commission Office. Sitna Jinido Nenshlon, Chishabashichin, Adon da Trachini da Shinale, Adon da Trodichini Eya da Shiche. I grew up in Howell Mesa, Arizona, and I work here under the Nygren administration. Ado Hashin son long eya koba Jensen, Hashin son long shinale Dr. Nygren Kodona Nishilek Ayi Lahagi, Nihi Office Navajo Hopi Land Commission, a Navajo partition land Adon, the former Bennett Freeze area, even it was lifted in 2009, on the Hopi partition land. And we recently modified and revised our plan of operation to ensure that we included Nahat Atzi, 14 chapters, on the Yat and Hidini, on the Happy New Year, Kodonet Nijit from the Navajo Hopi Land Commission, Shlanit Ekodon de Nishto Hashin Son Loe, Na Nishin Sa Don Da Zagi. There's a lot of unfinished business that sits within our accounting books. The Navajo Nation, they put together their annual budget. Last week, I know that there was budget hearings that were in process where the Nabik Committee, Budget and Finance, those departments that fall within those oversight committees, we've been able to go before them and propose our annual budget. From the Navajo Hopi Land Commission, I know that the Navajo Nation as a whole were in what's called a continuing resolution. The BNF committee, their allocations, a 433,000. So the Navajo Hopi Land Commission, the the Navajo Hopi Land Commission office falls under the executive branch. Budget, as we closely analyze our activities within the Navajo Hopi Land Commission, a 3 branches agreement, the comprehensive budget, a 494,000, so budget submit the daily this week. I know that there's been some discussion within the Budget and Finance Committee level where there are ongoing discussions between those 2 allocations. And the Navajo Hopi Land Commission, we do still have some shortfalls. These shortfalls, the Navajo Hopi Land Commissioners and also the Navajo Nation Council, they have addressed the allocation of the escrow monies, 3.4 million, and that was intended for the 9 chapters that were impacted by the former Bennett Freeze area. Those monies were essentially set aside to purchase building materials only. Some of the chapters between the certified and non-certified allocate some of those resources at their chapter level. I believe in 2022 there was a legislation that was approved by the Navajo Nation Council that allowed a lot of those earmarks that were intended for the 9 former Bennett Freeze chapters to be transferred into the respective chapter accounts. In saying that, some of them are still struggling to evolve those projects. Those monies are just intended for the purchase of materials, which forces our department to continue to find avenues to request for additional funding, whether it's from the Navajo Nation Council or external funds. So our office, now that where budget season is in full swing, we have put together our unmet need request. We have put forth 415,000. We need additional staffing, so that way we're better able to manage the escrow monies, and we're better able to manage also the Diné relocation funds. Diné relocation funds, that is also intended for the relocatees recipients. Those monies can be applied to home repairs or whether it's for infrastructure and scholarship. Those of you that are relocatees or children of relocatees, you're more than welcome to reach out and contact our office. We do have funding available. If you're a relocatee, make sure you have the home site lease and also your name is on the relocatee house. Reach out to area code 928-871 7297. Adonda, once you contact our office at the Navajo Hopi Land Commission, inquire about the relocation funds. And then you can also access our website at www.nhLco.navajo-nsn.org. And once you get to our Navajo Hopi Land Commission office website, feel free to tap on the services tab. Within there, it'll give you the policy that breaks down all of the procedures on the relocation funds. And also you can also access the intake form too, that's downloadable and fillable. And then once you fill that out, ensure that you turn it back in or electronically submit it back to our office. And I'll go ahead and leave you my email address as well, sarah.slim@navajo-nsn.gov. So these are just some of the resources that are afforded to the relocation, the relocatees. And we're also advocating on behalf of the Navajo Hopi Land Commission budget. So we're addressing the portion where there was no funding, there was no funds that came to address the labor portion for both the escrow and the relocation funds. So those are some of the requests that we have. That's a big ask on behalf of our Navajo Hopi Land Commission office. And so budget has the Navajo Hopi Land Commission covers the Navajo partitioned land. We're also working in consultation with the Navajo Department of Agriculture as far as addressing the grazing permits that were canceled in 1972. The Navajo Hopi Land Commission was directly involved with inserting language when the CFRs 161 were being developed back in 1995. So a lot of this establishes the Navajo Hopi Settlement Act, Public Law 63951 for NPL. NPL grazing permits that were canceled by court order in 1973. The new grazing regulations were published in October of 2005 as 25 CFR 161. The Navajo partition land grazing permits have become effective January 2006. It defines that the Navajo Nation through the Department of Agriculture, RDC CF-2017, the RDC, they have approved legislation that amends the previous IGR legislation that was set in place in 2010. The Navajo eligibility requirements to qualify for issuance of a grazing permit on the Navajo partitioned land. Resolution Adodition 2005, I believe, starting December of 2005, almost a month ago. Navajo Hopi Land Commission and also the Department of Agriculture, we have come together finally to proceed and move forward with scheduling several interviews where the Department of Ag is working closely with them. There was a lot of grazing officers that didn't come back, that weren't inaugurated this month. So right now, they're taking the time right now to ensure that the proper training is provided to the new incoming grazing officer with respect to a lot of these reissuance of the grazing permits that impacts the Navajo partitioned land. So in moving forward, I think the later part of March, I think it was March 10th and 11th and 12th of 2005, almost a month out, we're going to go ahead and proceed working through the Department of Ag, also the Navajo Hopi Land Commission office. We'll be working with the new incoming grazing officers that represents the precincts that fall within the grazing area, for the Navajo partition land. In March, the 10th through the 12th is when we plan on continuing to schedule the interviews. Update no adonda. I just wanted to share and expound on the Navajo Nation's eligibility requirements to qualify for the issuance of a grazing permit on the Navajo partition land. We have a lot of our people that reach out to our office here in Window Rock, really inquiring about their permit that were canceled back in 1972. We're doing what we can to ensure that we're collectively creating partnership with the Department of Ag to ensure that we're reissuing the permits back to the population that live within the Navajo partition land. The Navajo Nation to prescribe and eligibility requirements for the reissuance of grazing permits on the Navajo partition lands. Only those individuals who meet all the following requirements will be eligible to receive a permit. To receive a permit to graze livestock on the Navajo partition land, a person must meet all of the following criteria. So this is all of the necessary information, the criteria that has been provided by the Navajo Nation as we go through the motion of interviewing these individuals that are recommended to be reissued and permit. And be mindful that we have already gone through the community of Jedito, also Tisto, and we also completed Low Mountain. Okay, with those 3 chapters, I believe 7 each, we have managed to reissue permits to them. And this is the criteria that kind of led the interview process. Okay, the permittee on the list of permits canceled in October 14th of 1973. We have to make certain that, there's that old permit that was issued and that was canceled in 1973, that old permit, that comes into play. And when this individual permit, that comes into play. And the individual that's being recommended through this airship, and we do know that those permits that were canceled way back in 1972, 73, a lot of those families are not living here with us today. So in this case, we have a lot of, whether it's their spouse or whether it's their children, whether it's their daughter, their son, or their grandchild, airship, and then you have to demonstrate the direct lineage through a family card or how you're associated to these individuals. And then certain documentation comes into play that these individuals would have to provide. And they've been providing this information as a supplemental as we've been going through these interviews. A criteria and the individual has to have lived continuously within the enumeration area where the cancel permit was used. A lot of these interviews are being scheduled at the Pinyon NPL BIA office. And it's for the purposes of to ensure that when we're determining the airship, the permit, to ensure that those individuals were enumerated back in 1972. So it's the BIA NPL office in Pinyon, Arizona, that certainly has a lot of that information. So therefore, we do a cross-reference right away to ensure we get that proper documentation at the time of the interview. So the enumeration document is very, very important. And the individual, the airship, they also have to be an enrolled member of the Navajo Nation to demonstrate and show that they have whether it's a CIB or a census number. And the other thing too, is we do know that our program also covers HPL and those relocatees that have relocated all over the reservation, and some of them have moved off the reservation. So their grazing permits that they once utilized when they used to live in the Hopi partition land, those were all canceled. And in saying that, one of the things that we cross-reference too is when we have an individual that's coming that we're interviewing, we also have a reference list that was provided by the Office of the Navajo Indian Relocation Office, where there's a listing of individuals that were all approved to relocate. And so a lot of those individuals that previously had a permit on HPL, I believe, we do this cross-reference to ensure that we're not reissuing an individual that was relocated, if that makes sense. So if you further explore all of the Navajo Nation policies coming that circumvent anything to do with grazing within NPL, you begin to see that there's another tier. Those individuals that do have animals and that wish to have animals, there's going to be another segment for those individuals. Say, for example, a relocatee. I know the law on the Navajo Nation allows that you can incorporate or develop some type of nonprofit, and you can have access to a lot of those land that's provided through the Navajo Nation. I believe it's the tribal ranches. So you probably have to work closely with the Department of Agriculture and also our department to develop those plans. That way, a lot of those people that don't have a permit and that wish to have animals have that avenue also to have animals. And one of the things that we look for is to ensure that these individuals didn't sign the accommodation agreement to remain on the Hopi partition land. So those are some of the information that I just wanted to share. And also one question that we asked too is if these individuals have another permit elsewhere on the Navajo reservation. When we're going through the interview processes. And then the last item is, should new permits be issued for NPL under CFR 25, section 161401, legally recognized heirs of permittees who appear on the list of permits canceled on October 14, 1973 will have first priority. To date, we're working on reissuing these permits that were canceled in 1972. So I think over time, starting March, we're going to be working with the grazing officers that recently took office, and we'll continue to go through the list of those individuals that are awaiting to receive their permits to graze their animals on NPL. And one of the final note that I wanted to share in lieu of all of this grazing stuff is that all of these individuals, they're heavily encouraged and they're being recommended that they start back off with 10 sheep units. The net permit we're recommending to them that they work closely with the Navajo the NPL BIA office to ensure that office is responsible to work directly with these families that are being recommended to get their permits back. So range management, resources, so plan. So once these permits are active, once they're reissued legally, that document is handed over to these individuals. We do know for a fact that there's a lot of families out there that are illegally grazing their animals. So those are some of the things that has to be considered through the proper department, through the Department of Agriculture. And then there's range enforcements too that would have to be adequately staffed so they're in a better position to be able to address and be coherent to a lot of these issues that happen out on the NPL rangeland. Ako e hashin son long to kodo e ya ahon sod e ya kodon hil na shishne dole. And again, I just wanted to reiterate our contact information is 928-871-7297. We do have our website that you can refer to. A lot of our services that we provide to the outline beneficiaries, you can go to www.navajo-nsn.gov. Ko eshi eya kodo hashin son long eya kodo o hanegi la o yu eya ko dahus ago. We have individuals that reach out to our office asking a lot of these questions. So eben nachugo eya kodo hashin son long eya isin de eya kodon hilchohun adole. Although I know that ko dahus ago, our office works directly with a lot of the chapters, and when you get to the chapter level, a lot of these individuals that continue to come to their local chapter meetings. Those are some of the requests that are made at our chapter level. I'm cognizant, so I'm trying my best to provide the information in Navajo, but do feel free to reach out to our office and my personal line here at the Navajo Hopi Land Commission office. If you should have any questions in lieu of what I provided this afternoon on this Facebook Live, you can call me directly at area code 928-871-6277. The Navajo Hopi Land Commission has update in Hishlado unda. And then have a beautiful day. Adoshi ko dahus ago eya nujono da dahosliado le to hehan hidini do le yoba jensen ahun. It's in the Kodo Facebook Live that Kodo we're able to reach a lot of our individuals that are not here on Navajo, but a lot of these people are probably working. So hunso eya kodon hitna hoshishne dole ado eya yo naha iketa nidzen do ikeha hitini dole. Thank you.
Oh yeah, oh oh Hawaii, hey, 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 hey. Yane, oh Hawaii, hey, 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 hey. Yane, oh